deputy for the Boone County Sheriff's Department. Experience does count. We have done some great things at the Sheriff's Department in the last couple of years that has helped the employees as well as the citizens of Boone County. We have a great team in place at the Sheriff's Department, and as your sheriff, I plan to keep this team in place. I encourage you to vote May the 24th, Roy Martin, Boone County Sheriff.
At Sleep Mart, comfort is personal. That's why we're proud to offer the Your Comfort Mattress Collection with 5 levels of firmness from very firm to in haul-off services. Sleep Mart makes it easy. Sleep better, live better. Only at Sleep Mart.
And avoid the hustle and bustle next holiday season. No minimum deposit, no monthly service fee. First Community Bank, where community comes first. Member FDIC.
Work of Boone County government for many years. I would like the chance to share my knowledge of roads, buildings, and bridges with
was Danny and Lowry Hill. If I needed help, that's
You know, I can remember
Okay. And welcome to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. This is our second installment of doing a debate with candidates that are running for representative positions around Boone County. And with us in the studio today, we have running for Boone County Sheriff, we have Mark Forsey and Tim Robertson. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to jump right in with our first question, and this will kind of be an opening and a background statement from each one. And we did a coin flip earlier before we start the broadcast, and Mark Forsey won the flip. So we're going to start with him. Mark, please briefly introduce yourself and explain why you are running for Boone County Sheriff, and include any experiences that you may have had.
My name is Mark Forsey, running for Boone County Sheriff. Boone County is my home, my community. This is where all my family lives, my grandchildren, and this is the roots of my family. And in my past experience, in my works, in catastrophic work, military work, public service work, I see the firsthand challenges across this nation that are sweeping across this nation. I've worked in 48 states and Puerto Rico, and I see a lot of the challenges that are coming to the area across the nation. And I just wanted to bring my knowledge and my knowledge base of what I've seen, to Boone County.
Okay. And Tim?
As you know, I'm Tim Robertson. I've been in law enforcement most of my adult life for the past 38 plus years, and all of those here in Boone County. I started as a radio operator at the Harrison Police Department in 1987. From there, shortly after that, I moved to the Sheriff's Department, worked my way through the ranks there. I've spent over 24 years as a chief deputy. That's an administrative role. Bring all types of leadership training to the table. As you know, I've served in an interim role as a sheriff for just short of 3 years, and I just want to continue to do that for the people of this county.
Okay.
And then Tim, we'll go first with you with this question. What do you believe is the single most important responsibility of the Boone County Sheriff?
I believe that the most important role is just to protect the people. I think we need to enforce the law fairly, and a big issue, as we all know, for a sheriff is to maintain a jail. And we're required to maintain a safe and secure jail for our inmates, and we do that. Another thing is to support. Probably one of my biggest things is just support our deputies. We have a really, really great group of employees there, and I just can't stress that enough. They work so hard for so little, but just because they're like me, they're dedicated to our people of the county. And probably one of the biggest things that I've seen, that if you'll think back to 2020, my good friend Chief of Police, we worked together forever. We started I think I started in law enforcement 4 months before he did. And as we worked the road, we always wondered why all these agencies couldn't come together and work together. So that's the first thing we did. I called him the day after I was sworn in and said, we talked about it all of our lives, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So we've combined. Those guys are. We've got mutual aid agreements with them and all the other agencies of surrounding counties, and we've continued to do that through Sheriff Martin's term. And I just think that's the important things. At the end of the day, it's just protect the people.
Okay. Tim, would you like us to read the question again, or are you okay? Mark. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Tim, no, that's fine. The single most important job of the county sheriff, to me, is not only protecting the safety of the public, protecting our deputies and working with them, but it's also protecting the constitutional rights of the people. The sheriff is an elected position. It's a position where we have to not only enforce the law, but we have to lead with integrity, fairness, and accountability. We have a jail that takes up, is very important. The jail maintains the security and safety of our county. And we have to run it with good judgment and strong moral principles. And I think we just need to be a servant of leadership as a county sheriff, and we need to focus on not only a mutual agreement between, we talk about mutual agreements a lot between departments and different businesses and stuff like that, but we also need a mutual agreement between the sheriff's office and the public. The public needs to understand their role, and we need to understand our role. And that integrity between the two makes a stronger community.
Okay. We're going to move on to another category, law enforcement priorities. And we're going to start with you.
What question are you at?
We're going to go with number four question, Mark. And if you'll pull that microphone a little closer to you, or, yeah,
Scoot yourself.
there you go. What are the top public safety challenges that Boone County faces today?
Well, in many rural counties, the county faces several important public safety challenges. One of the biggest ones is drug-related crime addictions that impacts the family, property crime, overall safety to the community. Other ongoing, we've seen it quite recently here, another ongoing challenge is traffic safety. We've had some major traffic incidents that's had fatalities involved. From distracted driving, impaired driving. Those are serious challenges that we face. And those incidents often lead us to serious injuries, life-threatening things. And we have to stay a prepared readiness on natural disasters too. A lot of people, when we think about the sheriff's office, we think about the crime and drug addiction and all the other criminal activities. A lot of times we overlook natural disasters. And I've been in a lot of situations where that nobody was prepared for it. They always thought it wouldn't happen to us. And when you have those natural disasters, you bring in more crime. You have people that come in, try to loot. You have people come in and they try to fraud people from their insurance money. Mm-hmm. And these are all different things that we have to look at. And it's always an ongoing public safety challenge.
Okay. Time's up. Tim?
I believe that our biggest public safety challenge is the drug issues, and something that's really growing is our mental health issues. For us, it's for the inmates and the people we deal with on the streets. So those two things, and of course, as always, staffing's a problem. We need the staff to properly do our job. So that's just always a challenge that we work with at budget time on a yearly basis. Methamphetamine and now fentanyl continues to impact our families, and that drives crime. At the same time, we see more calls involving the mental health individuals. Those folks are in a crisis, and we've kind of had to change the way we deal with people because of that. But at the end of the day, it's our duty to enforce the law, and that's what we try to do. But I think an option to that for at least our leadership team is to support some mental health programs. As a matter of fact, there's a SAMHSA grant that our local hospital received last year. It's a $400,000 grant to deal with. Basically, we train people how to train others to deal with the mental health patients. And I was graciously awarded the opportunity to serve on that board, and I sit on that board today.
Okay.
And we'll start with you, Tim, on this question. How would you prioritize resources between patrol, investigations, jail operations, and community outreach?
I don't know that there's one takes precedence over the other. I think that each one of those is a priority, and that we just need to make it necessary resources to support each of them. It's just about smart budgets and strong leadership, and just making sure we spend our tax dollars in the proper way.
Okay.
Mark?
Well, when we look at this, there's there's two sections to every law enforcement agency. There's proactive and reactive. And when we look at this and we start prioritizing the strategic driven, and I agree with Tim 100%, I don't think there's any one that supersedes the other. We all have to work together. We have to look at the leadership during the disasters. We have to look at leadership when we prioritize the resources. We have to work with all levels of the state government. We have to work with all levels of the county government. And when we look at this and we work at this in a proactive and a reactive way, our patrol operations work as both. They're reactive and proactive. Our investigation system, that's our reactive side. Our jail operations, our community outreach is proactive. And we need to approach all of this and, with a careful budget, measurable outcomes, officer safety, collaboration with all of our partners, and to ensure effective response.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to jail and detention center management. This one will be for you, Mark. Boone County's jail is one of the sheriff's largest responsibilities. What changes, if any, would you make to improve or maintain the operations?
The jail is, it's a significant responsibility. And when you look at the direct effects to public safety, officer safety, taxpayer resources, policies, we got to, like Tim said a while ago, we got to focus on staffing. With that, and Tim knows it's a major problem, we all do. Even the community knows that the wages for our staffing. Kudos to Roy, he worked on this, got some, but we got a long ways to go in that to manage a good staffing on that. I support new data technology for booking, medical tracking. He talked a little about mental health. We have to work on that something fierce. And, some of this new technology coming out with medical tracking and reporting to improve accountability and efficiency. Our jail is, we always need to be evolving within our jail with new technology, staffing. We need to make sure our staffing is trained properly, adequately, and be able to handle what comes in with the mental health problems and stuff.
Okay.
And let's see, ouch, where are we at? Right here, 8. Here.
You are right here. Oh, this one, yes. There we go.
Tim, you go first. How would you address overcrowding, staffing shortages, or inmate mental health concerns?
Okay, first, staffing, I think it's what we do today. I think you focus on recruiting good people and retention and training. Competitive hiring and a clear leadership, strong support are very critical to stabilize our staff and keeping them safe, and it's just about getting good people and treating them right. So they want to be there. In the overcrowding thing, it's a daily struggle. I'm sure everybody knows that. The answer is you just have to work close with the judges and the prosecutors and our community partners. Our drug rehab centers. I spent 2 hours on the phone Sunday with John 316 because we had a guy, that needed to be there and not in jail. There comes times when you just have to decide, you have a violent inmate or somebody that's there because they didn't show up in traffic court. That person just gets to go, and that the bad part about that is these guys, they figure that out. They know that there are times when we're full that they're not going to have to go to jail. And we talk about mental health, and this is back to training.
Got 5 seconds.
We have to consider the mental health of our employees as well as the inmates.
Okay.
25% of our jail inmates are on mental health medication.
Okay.
And then Mark.
When we're addressing the overcrowding, staff shortages, and inmate, the mental health, that all requires a balance. We need a proactive approach to this. I would work closely with the courts, prosecutors, community partners to help reduce this overcrowding, through alternatives like pretrial supervisions, diverse programs, effective case processing while still protecting the public. The staff shortages, we've got to work on retention is key, competitive pay, strong training, clear leadership support, a culture where the staff feels safe. We've got to have good recruitment. We've got to focus on professionalism and community service. Mental health is the biggest challenge in the corrections today. It's not only, like you said, not only for the inmates, but when you look at some of our CID detectives and some of the things that they have to deal with, especially when it comes to murders or sexual assaults, the stuff that they have to look at, we need to be rotating those people out and, and letting them go to property crimes for a while and giving them a break. We've got to, our mental health of our officers are key.
Okay. We're going to move on to our second round of questioning, but first, before we do that, we're going to take a break and let everybody take a breather and let the audience out there take a breath. And we're going to be back in about 4 minutes with more of the debates with the Boone County sheriffs that are running for Boone County Sheriff. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Did I skip him?
Cracked, smashed, or chipped, D&H Glass can make it right. Business, home, or auto, mirrors too. Serving Harrison for nearly 50 years. Call 870-743-9155. But not just glass. No matter what your ride looks like, D&H Glass can make it cooler. With expert window tinting for a great look and more comfort. Cracked, smashed, or chipped, auto, home, or business. Remember, 870-743-9155, D&H Glass. Sawmills, heavy equipment, riding mowers, even school science projects. Find what you want and get what you need at Ozark Bearing and Supply in Harrison. Welding supplies, electric motors, compressors, hydraulics, gearboxes, speed reducers, sprockets, chain, and mower belts. That's supply. We also have the right tools for the job. Get what you need to get you up and running. Across from the neighborhood diner on North Main Street in Harrison. Ozark Bearing and Supply.
Hitting a pothole can be a real pain, but so can dirt roads and driveways. If you've ever had everyone in the car say, ouch, when you hit a speed bump too hard, or hit the washboard potholes faster than you wanted, or maybe that dreaded, I didn't see it, pothole to China.
If you've noticed wobbling, shaking, pulling from one side to another, or uneven tire wear, you may need an alignment. Give us a call to book your appointment.
We've all heard it. Location, location, location. But you also need exposure. What to do? The only number you need to know is 741-0090. Top Stitch in Harrison. Business logos, team names on uniforms, t-shirts, caps, jackets, bags, baby blankets, and more. Top Stitch Screen Printing and Embroidery is quality service with a smile and always competitive pricing. In Harrison, just behind Taco Bell on Cottonwood. The only number to know is 741-0090.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
The dealership that deal.
And welcome back to our coverage of Boone County representatives for different offices here in the county. And today we are covering the two candidates that are running for Boone County Sheriff. And with us across the debate table is Mark Forsey and Tim Roberson. They're both running for Boone County Sheriff, and we're glad that they're not fighting with each other this morning. They seem to be pretty good friends, and we hope this debate is great information for you to make a decision on when you vote. And that vote is coming up. Early voting is actually starting next Tuesday, the 17th, and it'll be running till March the 3rd, which is another Tuesday. So you got a couple weeks there to make your decision, and we encourage everyone to vote early.
Just vote.
We're going to start. Who's up first on our? Mark is going to start this question. How serious is the drug problem in Boone County, and which substances concern you the most?
The drug problem is very serious. It affects not only the user, but it affects the family and it affects the community. Boone County faces serious problems. Overdose rates are driven largely by fentanyl and opioids. Methamphetamine, we don't have as serious a problem as with the labs that we used to have, because Mexico made it quite cheaper just to get it over Mexican border. The use is still persistent though. And when we look at drug problems, fentanyl, methamphetamine, opioids, they've affected every family. I mean, there's either a friendship or a family member. I know in my family we've had issues with it, but we never want to overlook alcoholism. Alcoholism is still a high substance of treatment cases. The drugs contribute both to health crisis, law enforcement challenges. We see a lot of this with the drug abuse, and the drug abuse evolves into different types of health problems, mental health, tics, all kinds of things. So it's a very serious problem.
Okay.
Yes, our drug problem is very serious. You know, we have methamphetamine and fentanyl has become a thing. You know, it impacts beyond the drug charge itself. You know, we have people, we do our jail, you know, I think I've said before that probably 75 or 80% of people in our jail leads back to a drug issue. You know, you get addicted, that means these guys are going out, they break into storage units, houses, whatever they have to do to get money or something to trade for their next hit, you know, so we deal with it up and down the line.
Okay.
And then, let's see, we're on to 13.
Budget and staffing.
And 13. Tim, you'll go first on this question. The sheriff must operate within a limited county budget. How would you ensure taxpayer money is spent responsibly?
We look at our budget daily, if not, you know, every few days. You know, everything we spend, we try to make good decisions with that. You know, our county budget's about $6 million this year. You know, and there's a lot of things that we have to do with that. So we just try to get the best deal. You know, we do a lot with state bids on everything we can. You know, our jail budget's over $2 million. You know, and that's an issue with that. You know, it will be on the November ballot is our quarter-cent jail sales tax. You know, that would hurt if for some reason that were to fail. So we'll start pushing that hard, probably March 4th. Okay. So we have to be accountable for our money, and you know, we're just transparent. We spend what we spend. Our budget's, you know, open to the public. Anybody's welcome to look at it. I carry a copy of the budget with me. I got one today.
Okay.
Mark.
The sheriff, you know, as a sheriff, when we look at the budgeting and the dollar figures, you have to prioritize the safety needs of the public first, patrol, jail operations, investigations, and then while cutting the waste and duplicate spending. We always need to be looking to offset inflationary through aggressive pursuit of grants, regional partnerships, and bulk purchasing. Bulk purchasing is a great way to adjust that budget through purchasing through the state for vehicles or anything like that, or through the the meals at the jail, and looking at smarter technology to stretch every dollar. Transparency is going to have to be a physical discipline. We've got to earn the public trust. And of course, I'm not saying anything that we don't know right now. The county right now is having issues. I listened to the prosecutor speak the other day. There has been alleged embezzlement with county funds. And so we need to earn that public trust, and we need to be transparent. And like Tim said, we need to be able to offer that up when people ask for it. If you want to see the budget, here it is. But we have obstacles to overcome in the near future.
Okay. All right, we're going to skip down to community relations, and I've got a question. Actually, there's two questions here. We're going to combine those. What is your approach to transparency and communication with the public, and how do you handle complaints? And we'll start with you, Mark.
Basic on this is this is pretty simple, a simple approach. We got to have open and honest communication. We got to have constant public engagement, accountability, and documentation. When it comes to the transparency approach, documentation is vital, and we got to have accurate documentation with all areas of the sheriff's office. Another key thing that we got to look at is internal communication first. Our deputies have got to be informed about policies, community expectations, and public messaging. We need a respect for legal and ethical boundaries. We always got to be transparent, operate within the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Arkansas. It's all about earning trust through the honesty and consistency of accountability. The public needs to understand three things: what we do, why we do it, and how we do it.
Okay. And Tim?
As always, we maintain an open door policy at the sheriff's office. If you got a question, ask. Come see us, call us. We try to be there if we're not out on a call, fighting crime, or going to lunch. We'll be there to answer those. Call us if you need to. We do press releases on major things. I think we need to continue to do that to get the word out. We have a Facebook page. That seems to be the open communication these days, so we do that all we can. And obviously we fully comply with FOIA request. As far as deputy complaints, we have policies in place that guide our investigators to investigate those complaints. Our deputies are equipped with body cameras and in-car cameras, and we review those on our leadership team reviews those, not every one of them, but spot checks those on a weekly basis. And obviously we review all of those that we get complaints on.
Okay.
Do we need to take a break, or are we going to keep for another question?
Let's get ahead of it. We'll take another break. We have probably 2 or 3 more categories to cover, and we'll do that in just a matter of minutes. You're watching the debates with the Boone County Sheriff, and we'll be back continuing with that right after this.
The dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a rock-solid reputation in providing excellent service, support, and satisfaction on a wide range of tractors, mowers, RTVs, and much, much more. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a full line of parts and accessories and services what they sell with a knowledgeable staff and a friendly atmosphere. A staple in the Twin Lakes area for more than 40 years, carrying top brands such as Kubota, New Holland, and Skaggs. Visit the dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
It is really important to do business with people that are local. One of the things that we did upon acquiring all the stores was we tried to hold on to everybody that was already working here. You can't replace experience. We build relationships, we don't build the cars. The same customers that are buying from us today were buying from us 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And those are the same customers that I want to take care of today and 5 years and 10 years from now. Shop Clay Maxey Chevrolet in Mountain Home and ClayMaxeyChevrolet.com.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as it would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite, climate-controlled, and air-filtered boarding facility in the area, with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Do you need help with all of today's technology? Well, Tech Support of Arkansas is here to help.
I think I'd like to get one of those video doorbells, but I don't even know where to start.
Give us a call at Tech Support of Arkansas. We'll bring you one out and set it all up for you.
Call Tech Support of Arkansas to set up new computer hardware, mount your new TV on the wall, or do a free in-home evaluation for all your security and home automation needs. Tech Support of Arkansas, where one call does it all.
Relying on our vehicle to get you safely there is important. And when your vehicle isn't acting right, you need a team that can diagnose and get you back on the road fast. At 4-Star Car Care, we are proud of our satisfied customers' 5-star rating. From brakes to oil changes, front-end alignment, steering and suspension, to tire rotations and more. We do it all, and we do it right. In Harrison at 215 East Crandall and now in Yellville, they are always close by. 4-Star Car Care, where fast, reliable repair gets you same day back on the road service. Call 870-704-8045.
Convenient location, friendly staff, great selection, low prices, and a weatherproof drive-through. That's 5 great reasons to let Express Liquor in Harrison handle all your refreshment needs. Wine, cordials, liquor, plus foreign, domestic, and microbrew beer. One stop gets it all, ice and mixers too. Have a special order? Just ask and they will get it. Open 7:30 every day but Sunday. Big, clean, and friendly on the bypass in Harrison. All great reasons to shop Express Liquors.
Even on the most perfect day, the unexpected can happen. But with just one call to their local Red Ribbon expert at Overhead Door, they can get their garage door fixed or replaced in a jiffy.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home. At Sleep Mart, comfort is personal. That's why we're proud to offer the Your Comfort Mattress Collection with 5 levels of firmness from very firm to ultra plush. With over 45 queen size mattresses on display, starting at under $300. You're sure to find the perfect fit for your budget and your sleep. Need furniture? Sleep Mart has you covered with American-made reclining sofas, love seats, power and manual recliners, even sleep and lift chairs. Choose from a huge assortment of styles, colors, and materials to match your home. And with delivery and haul-off services, Sleep Mart makes it easy. Sleep better, live better. Only at Sleep Mart.
And we spoke briefly earlier in the debate about constitutional considerations, and we're going to talk now about constitutional and ethic issues. Question 21 for the guys here. Tim, we're going to start with you. How do you interpret the sheriff's role in upholding the U.S. and Arkansas constitutions?
I believe the sheriff's role is to enforce the law. And while you do that, you absolutely respect the U.S. and the state constitution. As a matter of fact, we swear to that. We swear under oath that we will do that when we take the office. That means that we protect our individuals' rights and that we ensure that they get due process, and we do this. We hold deputies to the highest legal and ethical standard. Every action we take, from arrest to detention, has to align with the constitutional protections. And that's probably one of the main things that we do at that office today.
Okay.
I'll tell you, the Constitution, I mean, that is, as Tim said, you take an oath to it. In the military, I took an oath to the Constitution. And as sheriff, you're a constitutional guardian. I mean, you have the main amendments you work with every day is the 4th Amendment, 5th, 14th, and the First Amendment. You got to have a balanced enforcement protection. You got to have leadership through example, accountability, and education. And when I talk about accountability and education, we not only we need to educate our officers on our deputies and stuff, and have constitutional classes to look at and to keep them, up to the protector of the liberty. I mean, the sheriff's foremost duty is to uphold and defend the U.S., Arkansas, not only to be a law enforcer, but a protector of all of our liberties.
Okay.
Okay, and then Mark, you will answer this question first. How would you ensure your office remains politically neutral while enforcing the law?
First of all, you keep a focus on your mission. Primary duty of sheriffs to uphold law and serve the citizens fairly and protect the Constitution. You lead by example. I'd keep my own conduct political neutral while in uniform or on duty. And as far as that goes, even off duty, for the leader of the sheriff, we have to lead by example. We got to set clear expectations for our staff. Everybody has a political opinion. Everybody has the right to it, but in certain areas of enforcement and stuff, we have to stay neutral and we have to check it at the door. Maintenance, transparency, and fairness. Decisions of operations would be guided strictly by policy, ethics, and the Constitution. Our loyalty is first to our faith, then our law, and the people of this, not to politics.
Okay.
Tim?
As we do, just ensure that our office remains neutral, and we do that by enforcing the law fairly and consistent, and regardless of politics or personal beliefs. Our deputies, we hold those guys accountable, and we make decisions based on the facts and evidence and legal requirements and not political pressure.
Okay. We're going to move on to emergency preparedness. How prepared is Boone County for emergencies such as natural disasters, large public events, or mass casualties incidents? And we'll start with you.
And you
Tim.
wanted to combine that, so
Yes.
what improvements would you make?
Okay.
We'll add that on there.
Okay.
So you get 2 minutes.
There we go. I believe that we're prepared, but those things you just never can be fully prepared for that. We have Adam does all kinds of training, ICS training. Our leadership team at the office has all the training that they have offered. That's to operate and run an incident command system. So we've done our part. I think across the board, countywide, we always look to improve training with our local fire departments, Office of Emergency Services. We need to continue to make sure our communication equipment is operational and keep the best type equipment that we can have. And I don't think you're ever prepared for that, but you need to be as prepared as you can be. I have, other sheriffs across the state that, we talk at meetings, and, I've got friends at agencies that have helicopters, manpower. There's a lot of outside help available, and it's just knowing who those people are and who to call when you need them, what you need.
All right.
Mark?
In regards of how prepared, they're not. We're talking about a wheelhouse that I've worked in for 26 years. This is actually something I'm very familiar with. I've worked in every state in the United States. And when I see people and communities and, I see them in shock. They think this will never happen to us. Well, it did. Boulder, Colorado, a little community outside Boulder, Colorado, up in the mountains, had a flood in the mountains. The community's gone. The river redirected itself. We have to work on improving enhanced communication systems. We have to make sure our communication system, our supervisors in the county, they have to have direct contact with our law enforcement. They have to have direct contact with OEM. Our weather prediction agencies have to have direct contact with our officers in the field when these storms are coming in, these national disasters. We have to expand our joint training exercises. We need to understand that no office stands alone in this. Some of the worst mistakes that I've ever seen is when different offices try to govern their own actions. It all regulates out of the OEM. Everything decision comes down out of the OEM. All plan of actions are made by the governing body through the OEM. We got to strengthen mutual aid, and we have to improve public and private sector engagement.
Okay.
Tim?
He started out with a question. That's fine.
Started that one.
We're going to move on to leadership and accountability. Describe your leadership style and how you would manage a large department, and how would you measure success during your term as sheriff? We'll start with Tim.
My leadership style is pretty open. I feel like I'm a servant leader. I care for our employees. I think my leadership style is providing them with what they need. And that means equipment, or if we need to shut the door and solve a problem, kind of back to the mental health side of that. I believe that as a leader, I need to participate in training with them, which is what we do. I need to provide them. I'm the type of leader that just gets them what they need, and that's just to support what they do. Now, at the same time, I have to be aware of of what's going on in our county. The operational and the community, and make strategic decisions on how we need to adapt the approach to whatever this situation is. It's just about clear communication, accountability, and empowerment. And I just feel like I need to support those guys that do the job for the people of this county.
Okay. Mark?
Well, basically just good leadership. You got to set clear examples. You got to lead by example. I would never ask anybody to do something I wasn't willing to do myself. Communication and transparency is forefront in this. Developing personal, place stronghold emphasis on training, mentorship, professional development, accountability and standards. Everyone, including myself, must be held to the same ethical and performance standard and training. Leadership is grounded it's grounded in integrity and communication and work. A leader cannot expect someone to do something they wouldn't do for themselves. And I think you involved the other question, how would you measure success during this term? Is that right?
Yes.
When you start measuring the success through this term, it's the community trust, the most, one of the important things. Crime reduction, we do statistics, look at crime reduction and public safety. Has it went down, up? Employee development. I'd hope to say that when you look at your team, are they stronger? Are they more motivated? Are their mental health good? We look at operational efficiencies, partnerships, and continued improvements.
Okay.
Okay.
We are moving into the final question, and there's a couple questions that remain, but I'm going to combine these, and this will be your opportunity once the question is answered to just go ahead and do your closing statements. If elected, what would you want Boone County residents to say about your tenure 4 years from now, and why should Boone County voters trust you over your opponent to serve as the next sheriff? And we'll start with you, Mark.
If I'm elected, down the road, I know you put the question in a 4-year aftermath, but, I'm also looking, 20 years down the road, after, I'm gone, 30 years, whatever. I want them to be able to look back and identify integrity, the trust, the community partnership, the leadership. Did people feel safer, lower crime rates? And I always want to empower the employees. I want them to be able to evaluate and feel like they've been supported. When you look at the 4 years from now, I'd want people in Boone County to say their sheriff served with integrity and open communication and believed in the people and the deputies. And then when you look at why should the voters vote for me their next sheriff. I have a long range of proven integrity and accountability across this nation. I've worked in areas that most people only look at on TV, and glad they're not living in that area. I've experienced leadership in catastrophic work, security, bringing in, placing security. When we go into these places, some of the most difficult places to deal with is drugstores. When the roof's blowed off and the walls are blowed down, you got to get manpower in there, especially insurance. They got to make sure manpower is there to secure that. For loss retention, community focus on approach. I believe in the public safety, commitment of professionalism. Voters can trust me to serve as sheriff because leadership is guided by integrity, experience, and genuine commitment to Boone County. I'm not running for the badge. I'm running to protect and serve, and to make the lasting positive difference in this community and my grandchildren.
And do you want to have any closing statements for the public and those who are watching?
I think I kind of done that.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I didn't want to.
No,
I wanted to make sure that
that's fine. I mean, I kind of covered that in there, in there.
Okay. And Tim?
Okay, 4 years from now, I want the residents of this county to believe and know that I led with integrity and transparency, passion, and results. I want them to have a safer community. I want them to know that our deputies were supported by me and that I respect them, and that we managed our jail responsibly, and that we worked with partners to solve problems, not to just enforce laws. I want the residents to feel heard and to trust us at the Sheriff's Department, and to know we served every person with fairness and professionalism. I think that when people look back at my term, I want them to say that we kept our promises and made Boone County a better place to live, work, and raise a family. Why should voters trust me? I live and die on my experience. This has been my whole life. I've done this for 39 years now. 27 of those years have been in leadership. This is home to me. I love it here. I love the people here. And I'd like the opportunity to continue to do what we've done for the past 39 years. I've done everything. We don't have a lot of major crime, but I've led and investigated homicides, and I've stopped cars for having expired tags and everything in between. I spent time working as a narcotics officer for the 14th Judicial Drug Task Force, so I know about the drug crime. Again, back to mental health, we talk about the people that we deal with needing mental health help, and I serve on the board to try to make that happen. More than that, we have to take care of our own people. The people I deal with talk about the horrible things, the suicides. What's never talked about is those deputies that went there and had to deal with that. My priority is them, while taking care of our inmates and our people on the street. I'll just lead with integrity and do the best job I can do for these people for the term that I'm elected to.
All right. I would like to say one other thing, and this is not on a campaign basis or anything, but I want the public to know, because people has asked me, and I don't know if Tim's been asked this or not. Tim and I have been friends for 35, 40 years, and we will be when it's over.
That's good. Well, I want to thank both of you guys for taking the time out to come and do this with us. You're both gentlemen, and you're running a clean campaign, and I think that whoever the people out there vote for, they're going to get a good sheriff. And we encourage everyone to get out and vote. If you can vote early, next Tuesday, it'll be the 17th of February, and that will run for 2 weeks until March the 3rd. So encourage everyone to get out and vote. And thank you so much for joining us. We have a representative from District 5 that are waiting in the lobby, and we will take an extended commercial break to get them set up. And after that, we will continue our debate with our representatives from Boone County. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Cracked, smashed, or chipped, D&H Glass can make it right. Business, home, or auto, mirrors too. Serving Harrison for nearly 50 years. Call 870-743-9155. But not just glass. No matter what your ride looks like, D&H Glass can make it cooler. With expert window tinting for a great look and more comfort. Cracked, smashed, or chipped, auto, home, or business. Remember, 870-743-9155. D&H Glass. Sawmills, heavy equipment, riding mowers, even school science projects. Find what you want and get what you need at Ozark Bearing and Supply in Harrison. Welding supplies, electric motors, compressors, hydraulics, gearboxes, speed reducers, sprockets, chain, and mower belts. That's supply. We also have the right tools for the job. Get what you need to get you up and running. Across from the neighborhood diner on North Main Street in Harrison. Ozark Bearing and Supply.
Hitting a pothole can be a real pain, but so can dirt roads and driveways. If you've ever had everyone in the car say, ouch, when you hit a speed bump too hard, or hit the washboard potholes faster than you wanted, or maybe that dreaded, I didn't see it, pothole to China.
If you've noticed wobbling, shaking, pulling from one side to another, or uneven tire wear, you may need an alignment. Give us a call to book your appointment.
We've all heard it. Location, location, location. But you also need exposure. What to do? The only number you need to know is 741-0090. Top Stitch in Harrison. Business logos, team names on uniforms, t-shirts, caps, jackets, bags, baby blankets, and more. Top Stitch Screen Printing and Embroidery is quality service with a smile and always competitive pricing. In Harrison, just behind Taco Bell on Cottonwood. The only number to know is 741-0090.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
The dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a rock-solid reputation in providing excellent service, support, and satisfaction on a wide range of tractors, mowers, RTVs, and much, much more. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a full line of parts and accessories and services what they sell with a knowledgeable staff and a friendly atmosphere. A staple in the Twin Lakes area for more than 40 years, carrying top brands such as Kubota, New Holland, and Skaggs. Visit the dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
It is really important to do business with people that are local. One of the things that we did upon acquiring all the stores was we tried to hold on to everybody that was already working here. You can't replace experience. We build relationships, we don't build the cars. The same customers that are buying from us today were buying from us 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And those are the same customers that I want to take care of today and 5 years and 10 years from now. Shop Clay Maxey Chevrolet in Mountain Home and ClayMaxeyChevrolet.com.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as it would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite, climate-controlled, and air-filtered boarding facility in the area, with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Do you need help with all of today's technology? Well, Tech Support of Arkansas is here to help.
I think I'd like to get one of those video doorbells, but I don't even know where to start.
Give us a call at Tech Support of Arkansas. We'll bring you one out and set it all up for you.
Call Tech Support of Arkansas to set up new computer hardware, mount your new TV on the wall, or do a free in-home evaluation for all your security and home automation needs. Tech Support of Arkansas, where one call does it all.
Relying on our vehicle to get you safely there is important. And when your vehicle isn't acting right, you need a team that can diagnose and get you back on the road fast. At 4-Star Car Care, we are proud of our satisfied customers' 5-star rating. From brakes to oil changes, front-end alignment, steering and suspension, to tire rotations and more. We do it all, and we do it right. In Harrison at 215 East Crandall and now in Yellville, they are always close by. 4-Star Car Care, where fast, reliable repair gets you same day back on the road service. Call 870-704-8045.
Convenient location, friendly staff, great selection, low prices, and a weatherproof drive-through. That's 5 great reasons to let Express Liquor in Harrison handle all your refreshment needs. Wine, cordials, liquor, plus foreign, domestic, and microbrew beer. One stop gets it all, ice and mixers too. Have a special order? Just ask and they will get it. Open 7:30 every day but Sunday. Big, clean, and friendly on the bypass in Harrison. All great reasons to shop Express Liquors.
Even on the most perfect day, the unexpected can happen. But with just one call to their local Red Ribbon expert at Overhead Door, they can get their garage door fixed or replaced in a jiffy.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home. At Sleep Mart, comfort is personal. That's why we're proud to offer the Your Comfort mattress collection with 5 levels of firmness from very firm to ultra plush, with over 45 queen size mattresses on display starting at under $300. You're sure to find the perfect fit for your budget and your sleep. Need furniture? Sleep Mart has you covered with American-made reclining sofas, love seats, power and manual recliners, even sleep and lift chairs. Choose from a huge assortment of styles, colors, and materials to match your home. And with delivery and haul-off services, Sleep Mart makes it easy. Sleep better, live better. Only at Sleep Mart.
Cracked, smashed, or chipped, D&H Glass can make it right. Business, home, or auto, mirrors too. Serving Harrison for nearly 50 years. Call 870-743-9155. But not just glass. No matter what your ride looks like, D&H Glass can make it cooler. With expert window tinting for a great look and more comfort. Cracked, smashed, or chipped, auto, home, or business. Remember, 870-743-9155. D&H Glass. Sawmills, heavy equipment, riding mowers, even school science projects. Find what you want and get what you need at Ozark Bearing and Supply in Harrison. Welding supplies, electric motors, compressors, hydraulics, gearboxes, speed reducers, sprockets, chain, and mower belts. That's supply. We also have the right tools for the job. Get what you need to get you up and running. Across from the neighborhood diner on North Main Street in Harrison. Ozark Bearing and Supply.
Hitting a pothole can be a real pain, but so can dirt roads and driveways. If you've ever had everyone in the car say, ouch, when you hit a speed bump too hard, or hit the washboard potholes faster than you wanted, or maybe that dreaded, I didn't see it, pothole to China.
If you've noticed wobbling, shaking, pulling from one side to another, or uneven tire wear, you may need an alignment. Give us a call to book your appointment.
We've all heard it. Location, location, location. But you also need exposure. What to do? The only number you need to know is 741-0090. Top Stitch in Harrison. Business logos, team names on uniforms, t-shirts, caps, jackets, bags, baby blankets, and more. Top Stitch Screen Printing and Embroidery is quality service with a smile and always competitive pricing. In Harrison, just behind Taco Bell on Cottonwood. The only number to know is 741-0090.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not
And welcome back to our coverage of the debate we're doing today here at KHLZ Studios. We're covering the elected officials or people that are running for elected office here in Boone County. And today we're talking with state representatives that are running for District 5. And with me from left to right is Truman Copeland, Mike Bishop, Jeff Pratt, John Burnside, and Kyle Evett. I want to thank you guys for being here and appreciate you spending time with us today. I know it's a little crammed over there. We apologize for that. And I said earlier that this will probably be the only time that everyone will be this close in a race together. So hopefully the information that we reveal today will help the voters out there to choose which one of you gentlemen will move forward in District 5. With me is Ann Limley, and we're going to kind of trade off on some of her questioning. First off, and we're going to start off with Truman. Opening statements and qualifications in 1 minute. Truman, tell voters why you are running for state representative and what specific experience best prepares you to serve District 5.
Yeah, for sure. First, I want to say thank you for inviting us on. But the reason why I decided to run is because early on in me coming back home from the Marine Corps, I felt led to go do something, and I didn't do it in politics. And so then I found this position was going to be open, and I had that same feeling. And so that's why I threw my hat in the race. Is we've got to have good, bold leadership, and I believe that I'm the best for the job there. Now, my qualification is I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, and during my 5 years of experience in the Marine Corps, I noticed a lot of government waste, and I also noticed a lot of bureaucracy that happens to force us to spend a lot more money than we need to. We've started creating this, we've started going away from a free market society where we can create things and make it cheaper for us here at home due to all sorts of different types of bureaucracy. And we've put a lot of regulation onto a lot of smaller businesses that just can't compete to other people.
Okay. And Mike?
Well, again, thank you guys for hosting this today. You know, when I learned that Representative McNair was not seeking another term, I felt strongly in my heart that we need a good, solid Christian conservative leader to fill that seat. And I feel I'm the guy to do that. You know, I'm a 50-year resident of Boone County. I've owned and operated several different businesses. I bring a very diverse business background. I also have a lot of history here in this community in public service and community care. And I love the people here, and I'm just excited to have the opportunity to step up and serve. You know, I'm a local realtor. I'm also a local pastor. And through pastoring, and each time we gather, I have the opportunity to interact with farmers and ranchers and teachers and veterans and seniors and young families. I know this community, and I know I can serve them well.
Okay. I'm going to move on to Jeff Pratt.
Well, like everybody else, thank you for putting this together. Why am I running? I'm running because this is home. I'm a third-generation member here of Boone County. I raised a fourth generation. I'm helping out with the fifth generation. So the quality of life that we enjoyed as kids, I want to make sure it's there for my grandkids and their grandkids. And the quality of life is so important. As realtors, we see people coming to our area because of the quality of life that we have here. And I want to do all I can do to preserve that. I bring a business background. I've owned and operated a business in Harrison or more than one businesses in Harrison for over 40 years. So I know the struggles to make payroll, to balance a budget, to operate a business and provide jobs for the economy here. And then also worked with the city and have had firsthand experience how that relates with the city. I want to bring all that to the state and see how we can represent our area at the state level.
Okay.
John?
Yeah.
So I'm John Burnside, and thank you guys, obviously, for having us here. But one of the things that I want to say thank you for real quickly is Ron McNair. He's done such an exceptional job of representing this district. Big shoes for all of us to fill, obviously. One of the things that I bring to the table is some experience in healthcare, but also in the education fields. I think those are two very valuable assets that are underestimated sometimes in making community great. We are the envy. District 5 is really the envy of the rest of the state of Arkansas. It is a fantastic place, not just to live, but to raise a family and to work. But that doesn't mean there's not some areas for improvement. Jobs are a big part of that. We're going to have more jobs if we're going to have industry and people moving in. One of the things that I want to emphasize with all of us here is that we're not competing against each other. We're just trying to give you good options. The option that I think that I want to present to you is that through working together, we're going to get there quicker than we are being divisive. And so we want to emphasize that we want to be a partner with this community to be the best district possible.
Okay. And Kyle?
I'm Kyle Evett. Last but not least, thank you guys again for hosting us today. I'm a Christian first, and then followed by a husband and then a father. Me and my wife, we just welcomed our third daughter on January 20th, so we're back to sleepless nights and diapers and bottles. But we are moving forward, and my experience, I'm currently adjusted to the peace here in Boone County. And one thing we've seen here in just the last few years, is we've seen a push, kind of going back to what John mentioned, our district being an envy, for the rest of the state. We've seen some different entities try to come into our district, namely crypto mines. We've seen, just south of us, trying to redesignate the Buffalo River. The latest push has been wind turbines, and that's one thing that I can say that I've got experience dealing with as a Justice of the Peace on the Quorum Court here in Boone County. Last year, we passed a moratorium to keep those out of Boone County and out of this district. So my experience, I'm already fighting for this district as a whole, protecting your values and your interests.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll start with Mike with this question. What do you believe is the single biggest issue facing District 5 today, and why?
Man, that's a good question. And I'll tell you what, it's hard to single out just one. I've spent a lot of time for the last 8 months getting out and meeting people, visiting with folks in their homes, having town hall meetings. We've talked to a lot of people. I've tried to touch and reach out again to as much of the community as I could. I would say one big issue that we have is the traffic, in not only in Harrison but in our county. That's a big issue that we're facing. The other, there's several that I could highlight, and hopefully we'll have a chance to. But the other one, and I'm going to touch what Kyle just talked about, and that's the wind turbines. In northwest Arkansas and in the state as a whole, agriculture and tourism are the number one and number two industries in the state. And it may not be as important in some parts of the state, but it's extremely important for us here with the cattlemen, the ranchers, the farmers, the chicken houses, all the folks that do agriculture and tourism. And we've got a tremendous window open for us in the years ahead. I come from a family tourism background, and I think that's so important to us to protect that.
Okay.
I think our biggest one is kind of a big all-encompassing one, and that's the growth and stability of our local economy. We need to make sure that our economy, we can't just sustain, we have to grow our economy. If you're just sitting still, you're gonna go backwards. So I think it's important that our economy continue growing so that we've got something there for our future of Boone County. Everything connects back to that. Good jobs, good small business, agriculture, workforce training, education, all of those things go back to supporting our economy. And if we don't keep our economy healthy and competitive, I feel like we'll lose young families, we'll lose workforce, we'll lose jobs, we'll lose industry, and it will hurt our economy overall. So I think our biggest issue is our local economy, growing it and helping it to move forward. And my focus will be on practical pro-growth policies that will help small business and industries develop and thrive here in District 5.
Okay, John?
So I think the most important topic for really is affordability. We have a lot of issues here that makes Harrison or Boone County not attractive as far as affordability. We talk about renting our housing. We talk about taxes. A lot of those things we have got to be very, very mindful of. We have seniors who are unable to stay in their homes because they've got to continue to pay property taxes, and those things are increasing. We've got individuals who can't afford the daily things that they need or the daily things that would make their life easier. We have problems with child care. We have problems with health care. We're going to continue to have those things if we're not able to provide good jobs that pay well, opportunities for families to have, again, all those things that we call the American dream. They could become outpriced for most individuals.
Okay, Kyle?
Yeah, and I think these guys have hit on it. You know, the economy and affordability are the largest issues, you know, and that comes from on the business side of things where we've not seen just a huge influx of jobs. Thankfully, you know, we've seen some local entities, the City of Harrison, Chamber of Commerce. We're going to bring Provalis here into the district. That's going to bring 150 jobs, put those downtown. And one of the big things of putting more businesses downtown is, you know, if we have all those people there, obviously those people are going to want to eat. Those people are going to want to shop, you know, and hopefully we continue to see a revitalization of downtown. But it also extends out to our farmers, you know, as Mike mentioned, our agriculture roots here into this district. You know, I was kind of keeping up with the cattle market, and if you're not in the cattle business, it is a seller's market. You know, just 10, 15 years ago, you could probably go get a breeded heifer, you know, for maybe $1,000 on the high end. I mean, we're seeing stuff go twice that now. I mean, it is if you've got a lot of cattle, you might want to think about selling, I guess, because there's money to be had there. But I mean, it's just across the board. The cost of everything has just skyrocketed, and so that's the big issue. Is we've got to continue to find ways to expand the economy and just increase that affordability of this district.
Okay.
And that's really just to piggyback on that. These guys, I think they've hit it right there on the nose. But I think that there's a lot of things that we can do about it, right? I think there's a lot of government overreach on the state level that we can definitely fix up. I think that there's a lot of government entities that are paying for a lot of things that increase the price of everything at home. Oftentimes, and I say this all the time, when government uses taxpayer dollars to go into the private industry, we see hyperinflation. And so one of the things that we should do is start limiting certain things to start pulling our state government out and our taxpayer dollars out of a lot of things. We've already started seeing some of that with SNAP, and we've tried to do that with some Medicaid issues, but just continuing to move that direction to start taking our taxpayer dollars out of that so we can give that money back to our people, and then hopefully the economy starts to regulate back.
You know, guys, one of the things that, as this has been discussed, we talk about affordability. And that is a big issue with when we think about business, for example. You know, if you do, and Jeff, you guys that run your own business, you know, personnel issues. If you provide insurance, you know, your insurance costs have gone up 10 to 15%. Our homeowners insurance is almost double. We've got these things that just keep escalating. We've got to figure out a way to bring that down. And also, the poverty level of our county, you know, as I've been out over the last few months, I have been surprised and been here 50 years. I didn't realize some of the poverty areas that we have in this county that we've got to address. My wife and I run a food ministry through our church, and we're feeding 150 families a month. And they're really desperate. We've got to find ways to help that.
All right. We've covered quite a bit on some of the categories that I wanted to ask questions on, but I think we're going to move on. That question or the answer that you just gave, many families are struggling with this high cost. What can a representative of District 5 do in the state, competing with all other districts? What can they do? And we're going to start with Jeff.
You know, the best thing that can be done to immediately, I shouldn't say immediately because all of it's going to be a slow process, you know, but some things to look at, obviously, to help people are to look at ways to reduce taxes. And we're taxed a bunch, you know, I mean, between income and state incomes and sales tax and property taxes and all those things need to be looked at, but they've got to be done in a very slow and methodical way, because every one of those are supporting services that we are using and enjoying as part of our lives. So we need to scale back some of that. And then the other thing would be, as a legislator, to look to see ways that we could streamline and make government more efficient. I think we've got some overlaps in government that is not paying off. And I think there's ways that we could streamline that, take that. So by making government more efficient, making government operate on fewer taxes would put some money back into people's pockets here locally.
So oftentimes these organizations that we call within the county, whether it's the city or the county, we are often competing for the same tax dollars. Mm-hmm. So we got to be mindful that the schools are going to ask for millages. There's many healthcare organizations right now asking for millages within their communities to keep their operating budgets going. We have to be mindful that we're not competing oftentimes. We got to be working together. We got to be collaborating together to determine what's most important for the community moving into the future. Without good schools, without a good functioning hospital, you do not recruit good employers or employees. You also do not recruit good families. And so those are things people look at. This state of Arkansas needs to work together with the other 75 counties to determine if can we make some successions and cutting some taxes. And I think that's important for the legislature to look at, is how can we work to make Arkansas better, then how do we look at making Boone County better? Those are two different things.
Okay. Kyle?
Yeah, I think it comes down to taxes, and we are the party of no taxes, but obviously that's just not a realistic option, in the world that we live in today. We, as Jeff mentioned, we have so many services that we do depend on and so many people depend on that it's not feasible to just cut every tax out there. But at the same time, again, we are the party of low to no taxes. So I think it's important we continue to look at ways we can cut back on the tax burden of our communities. But particularly here in District 5, I think it's important that we use the tax structure to incentivize new businesses to come here. That's how we increase the affordability. We bring in new high-paying jobs, and then people can afford more. I think that's a big part of it. Big projects that are going on in the city, extending Bunker Road into the Walmart parking lot, getting some of the local traffic off of 65. Stuff like that, and make it more attractive for more people to want to come to Harrison, and then that makes it more attractive for businesses to bring their shops here and set up and increase that workflow.
Okay.
I absolutely
Truman?
agree. We've got to find a way to cut taxes, and I think that it's kind of hard, right? There's two line items in the budget that take up 75% of the revenue, and that's education and DHS. So just removing all taxes, you're going to remove a lot of necessary things that don't include those, because those are oftentimes heavily funded by the federal government. So we'd see lower or worse roads, and we'd see less police officers, more crime, and things of that nature. So doing it in a responsible way, where we find where the waste is and then start pulling back on there. But on top of that, I think these guys are really hitting a lot of good points, but I would like to add one more. We spend in our school, half a year teaching personal finance. So I think that if we increase the amount of time that we teach that personal finance to our students, not only are we lowering the taxes so they have more money in their pocket, we can also teach them how to be responsible with their money. We can teach them about taxes and how that works. We can teach them about a lot more about budgeting and things of that nature. And so I think that that's an additional thing that we can definitely do to help fix the economic issue.
Okay. Mike?
When we talk about taxes, and that's the big ugly bear that's out there, everybody always wants to get rid of and get away with our taxes. And we know it's necessary. We have to have them in place. But I do think the answer to reducing taxes is, first of all, cutting spending and doing a good analysis of what the state's doing. And I don't want to be guilty of sitting back and armchair quarterbacking what we've done in the past as far as state. But I do believe that the pattern that we were shown here recently in the last couple of years with the DOGE program, the Department of Government Efficiency, it may be time for us to have one of those here in Arkansas, establish that, because I had a man that was a very successful businessman and a very wealthy man told me one time, he said, take care of the little items, cut little places here and there, the big things will take care of themselves. And when we cut and make those, we can make it a leaner, better, efficient government, because that's another thing. I'm more for smaller government, less government on us.
Okay. We talked a little bit about, Truman talked a little bit about education, and we need to take a break, so we're going to do that right now. And when we come back, we're going to ask a couple questions on education and what the state representative District 5 plays in that role. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
The dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a rock-solid reputation in providing excellent service, support, and satisfaction on a wide range of tractors, mowers, RTVs, and much, much more. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a full line of parts and accessories and services what they sell with a knowledgeable staff and a friendly atmosphere. A staple in the Twin Lakes area for more than 40 years, carrying top brands such as Kubota, New Holland, and Skaggs. Visit the dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
It is really important to do business with people that are local. One of the things that we did upon acquiring all the stores was we tried to hold on to everybody that was already working here. You can't replace experience. We build relationships, we don't build the cars. The same customers that are buying from us today were buying from us 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And those are the same customers that I want to take care of today and 5 years and 10 years from now. Shop Clay Maxey Chevrolet in Mountain Home and ClayMaxeyChevrolet.com.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as it would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite, climate-controlled, and air-filtered boarding facility in the area, with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Do you need help with all of today's technology? Well, Tech Support of Arkansas is here to help.
I think I'd like to get one of those video doorbells, but I don't even know where to start.
Give us a call at Tech Support of Arkansas. We'll bring you one out and set it all up for you.
Call Tech Support of Arkansas to set up new computer hardware, mount your new TV on the wall, or do a free in-home evaluation for all your security and home automation needs. Tech Support of Arkansas, where one call does it all.
Relying on our vehicle to get you safely there is important. And when your vehicle isn't acting right, you need a team that can diagnose and get you back on the road fast. At 4-Star Car Care, we are proud of our satisfied customers' 5-star rating. From brakes to oil changes, front-end alignment, steering and suspension, to tire rotations and more. We do it all, and we do it right. In Harrison at 215 East Crandall and now in Yellville, they are always close by. 4-Star Car Care, where fast, reliable repair gets you same-day back on the road service. Call 870-704-8045.
Convenient location, friendly staff, great selection, low prices, and a weatherproof drive-through. That's 5 great reasons to let Express Liquor in Harrison handle all your refreshment needs. Wine, cordials, liquor, plus foreign, domestic, and microbrew beer. One stop gets it all, ice and mixers too. Have a special order? Just ask and they will get it. Open 7:30 every day but Sunday. Big, clean, and friendly on the Bypass in Harrison. All great reasons to shop Express Liquors.
Welcome back to KHOZ's and XL7 K26 Hometown Television's coverage of the local debates here in our Boone County area. And we're talking with state representatives for District 5 in this debate currently. And we have moved on to education. And we're going to start with John Burnside. Is that right?
That's
John
correct.
Burnside is the next one up. What is your position on public school funding? And do you believe District 5 schools are adequately supported? And what is your stance on options like charter schools?
Okay, wow. Okay, so that's a lot there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a big one.
Okay, so first of all, let me talk about some experience. First of all, I've spent 16 years on a local school board. Do I think schools are adequately funded? No. We do have to continue to put money where we think is important. Our future is in with kids. If I ask in this room, I would guess that all of us are public school products. Most of the people in the state of Arkansas are public school products. Public schools are our foundations for communities. Charter schools, I'm not going to interfere with the way a parent thinks what's best for their child. If I lived in a different district, I may have a completely different opinion about public schools, especially if I'm in one of those districts where that has a failing grade. But within our district, that is not the case. Kids are being educated at a very, very high rate. Kids are going to college at a very high rate. They're going on to trade school at a very high rate. Education beyond K through 12 is still very, very important. We have some of the best schools in the state of Arkansas, bar none. Facts is proven fact. So I support public schools unapologetically. Charter schools may have a place in a lot of places in the state of Arkansas. Private education has a place in all of Arkansas, but I believe public schools should be funded and they should be supported 100%.
Okay. Kyle?
So as John mentioned, I'm a public school product. Me and my wife, our three girls, our oldest is in kindergarten in public school, and so most likely our kids are all going to go up through the public school system. I do think it's important we continue to fund our public schools to the best of our ability. But where, as we've seen with the LEARNS Act and these vouchers, allowing taxpayer dollars go to kids who are going to be put in a private school, charter school, homeschooled, wherever, I think that's become a real big conflict, particularly here in this district. Kind of again, as John alluded to, we have 4 phenomenal school districts, public school districts here in this district: Alpena, Bergman, Harrison, and Valley Springs. And they test through the roof. We have school districts that should lead the state in in their success rate in educating our children. But I do believe that it should come down to a parent. If they believe that what's best for their child is homeschooling or private school, then they should have the opportunity to do that. I think where the change needs to come in is we need to take a deep dive into if we're going to allow taxpayer dollars go to a family who's going to homeschool their kids or put their kids in private school or charter school, micro school. If we're going to allow taxpayer dollars to go to that, those students still need to be held to the same academic standards, same testing standards as we're going to do with these public school kids. Because, again, if we're going to spend this money here, we need to be comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where I kind of stand too. Of course, I went to public school, and I'm the youngest one over here on this table, and so I can attest to a lot of the things that I think I am. I don't know. But one of the things that I can attest to is being so young, I've actually been able to realize a lot of the things that should have been taught in school that weren't taught in school. And whenever it comes to the funding issue, of course, yeah, our public school system is underfunded, and we have a lot of unfunded state mandates. And so I've actually created some legislation that's in a draft form right now at 3 of the 4 superintendents to see their reviews of it. But it's pretty much to remove some of these or give them the opportunity through their school board system to remove some unfunded state mandates that don't really serve our kids. And so I think that that's a good first step. Now, whenever it comes to that private school and homeschooling, I think that those again, I think Kyle kind of hit it up pretty well. If we're going to fund things, we need to have results. And so if it's the same standard test, maybe we change the test to make it more generalization. I think the ASVAB is one of the best tests that we can take. Our military takes it for job placement. So and that tests more than just your basic academics, but it also tests your capability to be a plumber, to be an electrician, or to be a mechanic. And of course, I took the test, and it said that I'm best suited to be an aircraft mechanic. So that's what I went to do in the Marine Corps. So taking a more generalized test, I think, really would help, and then put in that kind of regulation. Now, if you want to have some sort of homeschooling or private schooling, I think that if it isn't funded, then I don't think that you should have a requirement there to have some sort of test to do.
You know, with the LEARNS Act, I think it's important for us to remember why that all came about, and that was because Arkansas ranked so low in our education successes here in past years. We're seeing good improvement on that, and I really believe that one of the problems that we face, at least what I'm hearing out and about, I have visited with every one of our superintendents in our different districts here in my district or this district that we're vying for. There's a lot of confusion and there's a lot of scare about what's it going to do to us. That's really causing some issues. I think we need some clarity and a lot more education shared with our community about how it all works. I also know I'm a product of public school. You know, I grew up in public school. I actually have a program that I do about how public school shaped my life and made me what I am today. I mean, I can do that. I think it's real important. And as a legislator, we go to Little Rock and we defend our public schools. But I do believe parents ultimately need to be able to decide what's best for their kids. Now, with that, there has to be accountability of how they spend that money that they're credited with. And they do have to have these standards so that we know all of our kids are progressing.
Okay.
You know, I think the LEARNS Act came in like a ball of fire. It went through the legislature too quickly. I think there were some unintended issues with it that I think in the next legislature it's going to have to be addressed. There are some funding issues that are going to have to be addressed. We put mandates upon our public schools and told them here's how it's going to be, but we didn't give them the tools to do it. For long term, we're going to help you out for a couple years, but then, you know, there's no guarantee after that. And just like everyone else says, one thing I did a little bit different is I sent my boys to private school for a little while until 4th grade. And that was a personal choice of ours. Nothing against Harrison. I went to Harrison. I never thought about asking for tax dollars. You know, we paid for that ourselves. And so to send your kids, when you have great schools in our district, to send them to homeschool them or a private school or a charter school and take those dollars away from the public school where we have voted as a community to endorse, to support with our millages and our taxes, I have a problem with that. Now, I know LEARNS Act is allowing it, but if we're going to do that, then they have to, I think we're wrong by not holding every kid to the same standard, and testing them all. The LEARNS Act, the big deal was no kid left behind. Well, I'm afraid that some of these kids that are not being tested to the same standards that the public schools are being tested to are being left behind. And we're doing a disservice by not ensuring that that happens.
Okay. We are going to take one of our breaks. I'm not sure if that will be our last one. We'll have another break or two in here. We're going to talk a little bit about health care and state taxes and spending, and the representatives will tackle those questions and more when we come back. Stay with us.
Even on the most perfect day, the unexpected can happen. But with just one call to their local Red Ribbon expert at Overhead Door, they can get their garage door fixed or replaced in a jiffy.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home.
At Sleep Mart, comfort is personal. That's why we're proud to offer the Your Comfort Mattress Collection with 5 levels of firmness from very firm to ultra plush. With over 45 queen size mattresses on display, starting at under $300. You're sure to find the perfect fit for your budget and your sleep. Need furniture? Sleep Mart has you covered with American-made reclining sofas, love seats, power and manual recliners, even sleep and lift chairs. Choose from a huge assortment of styles, colors, and materials to match your home. And with delivery and haul-off services, Sleep Mart makes it easy. Sleep better, live better. Only at Sleep Mart.
Cracked, smashed, or chipped, D&H Glass can make it right. Business, home, or auto, mirrors too. Serving Harrison for nearly 50 years. Call 870-743-9155. But not just glass. No matter what your ride looks like, D&H Glass can make it cooler. With expert window tinting for a great look and more comfort. Cracked, smashed, or chipped, auto, home, or business. Remember, 870-743-9155. D&H Glass.
Sawmills, heavy equipment, riding mowers, even school science projects. Find what you want and get what you need at Ozark Bearing and Supply in Harrison. Welding supplies, electric motors, compressors, hydraulics, gearboxes, speed reducers, sprockets, chain, and mower belts. That's supply. We also have the right tools for the job. Get what you need to get you up and running. Across from the neighborhood diner on North Main Street in Harrison. Ozark Bearing and Supply.
Hitting a pothole can be a real pain, but so can dirt roads and driveways. If you've ever had everyone in the car say, ouch, when you hit a speed bump too hard, or hit the washboard potholes faster than you wanted, or maybe that dreaded, I didn't see it, pothole to China.
If you've noticed wobbling, shaking, pulling from one side to another, or uneven tire wear, you may need an alignment. Give us a call to book your appointment.
We've all heard it. Location, location, location. But you also need exposure. What to do? The only number you need to know is 741-0090. Top Stitch in Harrison. Business logos, team names on uniforms, t-shirts, caps, jackets, bags, baby blankets, and more. Top Stitch Screen Printing and Embroidery is quality service with a smile and always competitive pricing. In Harrison, just behind Taco Bell on Cottonwood. The only number to know is 741-0090.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
The dealership that deals.
And welcome back to our debate coverage for representatives for District 5, and we have them here in the studio. And actually, during the break, they all were working back and forth, talking, discussing. Maybe we should just vote them all in office, and maybe we can get a lot of things done here at District 5. That would be good. We made a comment on health care, and we want to ask a question about that to the candidates here. Kyle, we're going to start with you. What steps should the state take to improve access to health care in rural parts of District 5?
Yeah, so obviously, North Arkansas Regional Medical Center is our local hospital here. One thing that that is speaking with hospital administration about and that I'm passionate about, and namely because, we, as I mentioned early on, me and my wife, we just welcomed our third daughter into the world on the 20th. The state of Arkansas has been awarded for another year in a row, however many, 2-3 years in a row, as the most pro-life state in the country. But we lead the nation in infant mortality rates. So something's not leveling up there. Obviously, an abortion before birth and then after birth are two different things. But it's like, why do we have the disconnect between us being so adamantly against abortion and being pro-life, and then our babies and our moms are dying? So I think a big part of that is access to health care in these rural parts of the states. We're seeing less and less hospitals be able to deliver babies, and so I think that's something that as a state we need to come in and look and say, hey, how can we empower our medical field and our rural hospitals to provide better care and better access to that care?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going down to Truman.
And for me, I think whenever I think of rural healthcare, I think of locations like Omaha and Alpena and Valley Springs, where people can get a little bit closer to their healthcare individuals or their doctors. And one of the big things that I believe in is the free market. And if there's not enough people out there, then those doctors start moving where there's a little bit more people. So it's one of those things that we have a great hub here in Harrison with a fantastic hospital. I know we've also got a lot of different doctors' offices here, and I think that we do a fantastic job there. And whenever it comes to making healthcare cheaper and more affordable, I think that a big part of that is we've got to find a way to allow us to have an open market or a free market on our health insurance too, where I got a bill the other day that said, it's going to cost this much, and then I got a bill after the insurance, and it actually cost more with my insurance than without it, which I think is ridiculous. So we've got to find a way that we can actually see these two different options and then have the cheaper option or have an option there. Now, what we can do, there's a lot of different things that we can do there, but I think Medicaid, I think we did Arkansas Works, which was really, really well provided, but then, of course, we switched it to AR Home, which I think kind of opened it up to a lot more people, but not necessarily allowed a retention rate, I guess.
Okay. Mike?
This issue of hospitals around the state choosing and maybe having to, just because of the circumstance of finance and also the insurance liabilities. We just heard a couple nights ago, we heard our hospital CEO say that that 60% of Arkansas hospitals do not deliver babies anymore. And so that's a very serious problem for us that we need to be addressing. Part of the problem, I understand, and I don't know all of this, but I've had a chance to visit with Ms. Robertson at length. And one of the things that she consistently talks about is the slow pay or the low reimbursement rate from Medicaid. And I don't know, I think we need to be, as state legislators, we need to be coming together and being more aggressive in trying to find an answer to that. I really do.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, I agree with what Mike just said. I think a lot of our issues, obviously everything we're going to talk about deals with funding in some way, shape, or form.
That's right.
Whether it be healthcare or our economy or whatever. And, when we're talking about tax cuts on the national level, and that means less turnbacks at the state, and the state's cutting taxes, and that means less turnback to the local communities. And so we do have to be very cautious about what we're doing. But in that same turn, I think Arkansas, we have funds, we have dollars in reserves, we have money available to be spent in a very methodical, precise way. And I think a lot of that's got to go back to our rural hospitals. We've got too many hospitals that are closing, that are having to cut back on services, or have the space to expand services, but they don't have the funds to do it. And I think as state legislators, we can look at some of that funding, some of that reimbursement coming from the state to our local hospitals and be more supportive so that we can keep our rural clinics open, so people aren't having to drive an hour and a half to a doctor, stuff like that. I think that's going to be the most important thing, is just working on the flow of funds and making sure that those funds are handled in an efficient and no fraud manner. I mean, we hear so much fraud scams out there that I think there's got to be oversight to the funds.
Yeah. John?
Okay, so I've been in healthcare for 33 years. We have seen in those 33 years, we've seen what's happened to Berryville and Eureka Springs. We already know that those are shells of what they used to be. Those individuals are traveling for not just their family practice, but for all their practice, any kind of health care they have to have. It is essential that rural hospitals are not just thriving, but they're funded adequately. We talk about child care or childbirth. We're seeing those hospitals not deliver babies anymore. Those families are traveling long distances. But we can say the same thing about all specialists, anything that we call ologies, cardiology, urology, nephrology, neurology. All of those specialists are now being pumped into metropolitan areas. So that if you have an issue like a heart attack, you're being taken to a hospital that's just basically a triage to another major facility, and time is lives. The quicker we can get you into quality health care, the better that we can get there. Recruiting specialists, recruiting really good specialists to rural Arkansas is very important. I think the state can play a part in helping us find those specialists and pay for those specialists, so that if you are in Harrison, Arkansas, El Dorado, Arkansas, Texarkana, one of those hospitals, that you're not only looking for all your health care to come from Central Arkansas and Little Rock systems. We have to continue to look to see how we can best fund these hospitals, those organizations, so that they can provide the specialists, not just the family practice needs.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for those comments. That was pretty intense and passionate from every one of you. And with that, we went a little long, so I'm going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about how you're going to deal with the other representatives across the aisle. And we'll do that in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Ozark Farm and Lawn has a rock-solid reputation in providing the dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a rock-solid reputation in providing excellent service, support, and satisfaction on a wide range of tractors, mowers, RTVs, and much, much more. Ozark Farm and Lawn has a full line of parts and accessories and services what they sell with a knowledgeable staff and a friendly atmosphere. A staple in the Twin Lakes area for more than 40 years, carrying top brands such as Kubota, New Holland, and Skaggs. Visit the dealership that deals. Ozark Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
It is really important to do business with people that are local. One of the things that we did upon acquiring all the stores was we tried to hold on to everybody that was already working here. You can't replace experience. We build relationships, we don't build the cars. The same customers that are buying from us today were buying from us 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And those are the same customers that I want to take care of today and 5 years and 10 years from now. Shop Clay Maxey Chevrolet in Mountain Home and ClayMaxeyChevrolet.com.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as it would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite, climate-controlled, and air-filtered boarding facility in the area, with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Do you need help with all of today's technology? Well, Tech Support of Arkansas is here to help.
I think I'd like to get one of those video doorbells, but I don't even know where to start.
Give us a call at Tech Support of Arkansas. We'll bring you one out and set it all up for you.
Call Tech Support of Arkansas to set up new computer hardware, mount your new TV on the wall, or do a free in-home evaluation for all your security and home automation needs. Tech Support of Arkansas, where one call does it all.
Relying on our vehicle to get you safely there is important. And when your vehicle isn't acting right, you need a team that can diagnose and get you back on the road fast. At 4-Star Car Care, we are proud of our satisfied customers' 5-star rating. From brakes to oil changes, front-end alignment, steering and suspension, to tire rotations and more. We do it all, and we do it right. In Harrison at 215 East Crandall and now in Yellville, they are always close by. 4-Star Car Care, where fast, reliable repair gets you same day back on the road service. Call 870-704-8045.
Convenient location, friendly staff, great selection, low prices, and a weatherproof drive-through. That's 5 great reasons to let Express Liquor in Harrison handle all your refreshment needs. Wine, cordials, liquor, plus foreign, domestic, and microbrew beer. One stop gets it all, ice and mixers too. Have a special order? Just ask and they will get it. Open 7:30 every day but Sunday. Big, clean, and friendly on the bypass in Harrison. All great reasons to shop Express Liquors.
Even on the most perfect day, the unexpected can happen. But with just one call to their local Red Ribbon expert at Overhead Door, they can get their garage door fixed or replaced in a jiffy.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home.
At Sleep
And welcome back to our coverage of the District 5 representatives that are debating here in the studios at KHOZ. And we're going to continue our questions for them. And we're going to start off with Mike. Mike, if you're elected, how would you work with legislators you strongly disagree with across the aisle and whatever to get the results that you want for District 5?
You know, that's a great question, and it's an important question. You know, my first short answer would be respect. I think we've lost a lot of that in the political process, and I don't like seeing that. We experience it all the time on the national level, and it bothers me that we're even seeing some of it on the local level. I'll just say that. It's uncalled for. One of my strengths, and all of my working life, it seems like since I was a teenager, I'm a unifier. I'm a peacemaker. I believe in that. I've had several jobs over the years where I've had to put that together, a unity builder. We are the United States of America. We should be able to come together and do common good for the common people of Arkansas, and that would be my message all the time. You know, I was a Chamber of Commerce president of a very diverse community, had 460 members, and I was able to keep them pulled together. Here locally, many years ago, when we were working and developing the tourism efforts in Arkansas, we put together the Scenic 7 Association, which ran from Hot Springs to the lakes, and the whole idea was to bring business together, so we unified them. I've even had success with it with our local churches here in Boone County. You know, so not surprising to some people, even churches disagree. But we've been able to come together, and I would just hope and pledge that I would be able to take those abilities and work that way in Little Rock.
Okay. Jeff?
You know, working with someone you don't know or you don't agree with, that's really a good thing, because you get to experience both sides, both passions, both sides of every issue that you're disagreeing on. Now, how do you work with that person? Okay, well, you're going to have to find some common ground so that, in just about every argument, you can find common ground that you can then start with and build from that. And it's that understanding that I would take to Little Rock. But bottom line, it's all got to, on my side's got to filter back to not who I agree with party-wise or on the other side of the aisle. It's got to be, how does that affect District 5? You know, what does my negotiating with this legislator to get a piece of legislation passed, may not be exactly what I want, but is it going to help my district? Sometimes I'm going to be able to work with someone and do that, and sometimes you just have to dig your heels in and say, sorry, we're going to have to agree to disagree, but always in a respectful manner.
Okay. John?
Okay, so most of all of Boone County has gotten mailers in their mailbox for the local Senate race.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a turnoff. I've heard so many people who have it's just been so much negativity. So we see the product of what negativity brings. Most of us were raised to treat people with respect and try to treat people with kindness. And I think that starts with we were raised right. That's the nice thing about being in this district. Most people in this district have been trained right. They were raised right. We're not going to, walking into a situation looking for a fight is not the way to get anything done. Unifying individuals has been is a trait, it's a skill. You develop, you learn it. I think sometimes the older you get, sometimes that's forgotten, but it's something that you can continue to get better at. A lot of us have been at this table, have been married for a long, long time. If we were looking for a fight, we can find fights. We have got to learn to bring that same common sense approach to politics. There are no winners when you come out with your guns fired on every item. Now, Jeff said something important. There are things that affect Boone County and affect District 5, and we should be willing to fight for those things. But on most things, let's look for some common ground, and let's find some respect first.
Okay. And Kyle.
Yeah, so I think, it's just important to remind everyone, the question was about working with people across the aisle. Here in Arkansas, Republicans have a super majority. So yes, we do need to be able to work across the aisle, but it's important we can work with each other on this side of the aisle. We hear all the time about what people call rhinos, Republicans in name only, and there's some people who are in it for them, and that's just the reality of politics. So I think these guys have all kind of hit on it. We need someone in Little Rock who's going to take our values, champion our values in Little Rock, and be able to work with anyone down there and to do what's best for Boone County and District 5, whether that's on the Democrat side of the aisle, on our own side of the aisle, or any other political party. It's important that we're able to work with other people who we may not agree on everything, but finding that common ground, as we mentioned, to do what's best for District 5 in the state of Arkansas.
Okay. And then Truman.
Yeah, so whenever it comes to working on the other side of the aisle or with somebody that you disagree with, right, I think it's extremely important to be bold. That's a really big message to me. But at the same time, we have to understand we agree with 90 to 95% of the things. It's the 10%, the 5% that we have to, say, sorry, the best thing we can do is agree to disagree. I think that there's a lot more to, instead of just A and B, there's an option C. You just got to find it. And there's some issues that where I know Kyle said earlier, we're the most pro-life state in the nation. And one of those things to be there, I mean, we're winning on that fight by being bold and standing true and firm on those kind of conversations. We shouldn't backslide into a more open theology about that. So we've got to keep on being bold in certain areas. But we can also take care of the mothers a little bit better that hit that less than 1% that they talk about being, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but the rhymes with grape and incest, but we can take care of those people in a lot different ways, and we kind of forget those things. And so seeing the heart behind somebody's conversation that they're trying to have with you and then come into a genuine understanding of each other, I think is one of the best things that we can do.
Okay. We are running up to the top of the hour, and we're going to take a hard break, and we're going to continue. We have closing comments and one or two more questions to cover. It shouldn't take us that long. I want to thank everyone for being here, and thank you for watching. I know these debates are long and arduous, but we're going to get through them, and hopefully that we'll learn something from that. And with that, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
At Sleep Mart, comfort is personal. That's why we're proud to offer the Your Comfort mattress collection with 5 levels of firmness from very firm to ultra plush. With over 45 queen size mattresses on display, starting at under $300. You're sure to find the perfect fit for your budget and your sleep. Need furniture? Sleep Mart has you covered with American-made reclining sofas, love seats, power and manual recliners, even sleep and lift chairs. Choose from a huge assortment of styles, colors, and materials to match your home. And with delivery and haul-off services, Sleep Mart makes it easy. Sleep better, live better. Only at Sleep Mart.
Cracked, smashed, or chipped, D&H Glass can make it right. Business, home, or auto, mirrors too, serving Harrison for nearly 50 years. Call 870-743-9155. But not just glass. No matter what your ride looks like, D&H Glass can make it cooler with expert window tinting for a great look and more comfort. Cracked, smashed, or chipped, auto, home, or business. Remember, 870-743-9155, D&H Glass.
Sawmills, heavy equipment, riding mowers, even school science projects. Find what you want and get what you need at Ozark Bearing and Supply in Harrison. Welding supplies, electric motors, compressors, hydraulics, gearboxes, speed reducers, sprockets, chain, and mower belts. That's supply. We also have the right tools for the job. Get what you need to get you up and running. Across from the neighborhood diner on North Main Street in Harrison. Ozark Bearing and Supply.
Hitting a pothole can be a real pain. That's so can dirt roads and driveways. If you've ever had everyone in the car say, ouch, when you hit a speed bump too hard, or hit the washboard potholes faster than you wanted, or maybe that dreaded, I didn't see it, pothole to China.
If you've noticed wobbling, shaking, pulling from one side to another, or uneven tire wear, you may need an alignment. Give us a call to book your appointment.
We've all heard it. Location, location, location. But you also need exposure. What to do? The only number you need to know is 741-0090. Top Stitch in Harrison. Business logos, team names on uniforms, t-shirts, caps, jackets, bags, baby blankets, and more. Top Stitch Screen Printing and Embroidery is quality service with a smile and always competitive pricing. In Harrison, just behind Taco Bell on Cottonwood. The only number to know is 741-0090.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
And welcome back to our final session of our debates with the representatives running for District 5, and they're all here. They're all very much in agreement with a lot of the questions that we've asked, and I think everyone's going to have a hard time choosing one outstanding person when you go to the voters' booth. Next Tuesday, voting starts February the 17th, and it runs till March the 3rd, and you'll have those 2 weeks to pretty well choose, and we hope that this debate has helped that. We're going to start off with our closing comments, and up next is Jeff. Jeff, you have the floor. Tell us why we should vote for you.
You know, I believe that I bring a track record to the race. I have been in local politics for 20 years. either as an alderman or clerk treasurer for the city of Harrison. So I have firsthand knowledge of interactions between municipalities and the state. I have owned and operated businesses for over 40 years here. So I know the issues it takes to run a business and keep payroll going and those things. I see the issues, I know the issues that our community faces, and that's why I want to go down to Little Rock. I have been helping out with the Arkansas Realtors Association for the last several years, lobbying in Little Rock for private property rights, taxations, that kind of thing. And I'm down there in Little Rock, and I told Ron McNair, I said, dude, you do a great job. I'm not going to run against you, but after sitting in some of these committees and testifying in front of some of these people, if you ever decide to hang it up, please let me know, because I want to make a run at that. I feel like I could represent District 5 in a very good light in Little Rock and help support the quality of life that we all enjoy here.
Okay. John.
I've got 16 years of local school board experience. I understand schools and understand the importance of education. I spent 33 years in local healthcare. I understand the needs that we all face, and I understand that healthcare is an important part of what we do. I spent 2 years at the North Arkansas College. I understand what we need to do with children after K through 12. And after that, I just believe that as leadership, when it comes to leadership, it's leading yourself. It's developing and becoming a good quality person. Trying to understand that your neighbor is still your neighbor. That they may have different ideas than you. But at the end of the day, we need to be neighborly. We need to look out for each other. We need someone in Little Rock who's looking out for the ideas and the ideas that make North Central Arkansas what it is. And I still believe this is the greatest part of the state of Arkansas. And Arkansas is one of the greatest parts of this country. And so it would be an honor to represent North Central Arkansas in District 5 in Little Rock.
Okay. Kyle?
You know, as the Justice of the Peace, I've got that experience, you know, championing the values of our district, you know, voting against the wind turbines, keeping them out of this district, proposing amendments to increase funding to our rural firefighters. I've got that experience, you know, and proven track record of being invested in this for you, the citizens of Boone County and District 5. You know, I think it's important as we look at the political field, you know, at the state level, local level, federal level, when we look and we see the young up-and-comers, the ones who bring that passion and that energy, where do we see them? We see them on the other side of the aisle. I think it's time that we, as the Republican Party, look to start moving and transitioning into our next generation of great leaders. I have that energy and that passion to go down to Little Rock and fight for you. And so I'd like to ask for your vote for State Representative District 5.
And Truman.
Yes, so I found Jesus about 5 years ago. And I truly accepted him into my life and into my heart. And one of the things that I realized whenever I did that is he's been molding me for a very long time. I grew up in this area. I graduated not here, but whenever I worked 6 jobs to come back here. And then I put myself into working in the factories here in Harrison, Arkansas. I understand the need for the people here in this area in a level that I've been in the shoes, and I've actually worked through it. And one of the things that I believe that I bring is a servant leadership, somebody that's going to listen to you and understand the things that you bring to the table. And I'm going to try to do everything in my power to make sure that that you have all of the opportunity and all of the options presented to you. So then we can truly start making the state a better place, like the place that I grew up, and continue to be strong in Little Rock.
Okay. And finally, Mike.
Well, guys, you know, I've been here 50 years, and I have served in this community in countless numbers of ways for different efforts. people that I really know, and I do know a lot of people from side to side, end to end of this county, which we know District 5 is primarily the lower part of Boone County. I would hope people know my heart. You know, unlike most everybody that's here, I've never served in an elected political office. And when people say, well, how do you feel about becoming a politician? I said, I'm not. I'm a public servant. I truly have a servant's heart. I'm a pastor of the gospel. I look at things through a biblical worldview, and I let that guide me. And I know that the people of Boone County deserve that. And I think, you know, being a representative to me is twofold. First of all, we represent the people that elect us, people that live in this county, but we also are representative of the people. And as it's been said here today, we've got good people in Boone County. We've got people who love the Lord. We've got people who work hard. We've got people who love family and value that we've got a lot of the great things that, as a realtor, and Jeff could attest to this, we talk to people all the time that's moving here for the quality of life that is not found in other parts of the country. In the little area where I live up around Bear Creek Springs, 5 of the 8 households are new within the last 2 years. They've come here from Idaho and from Kansas and from Oklahoma and from, you know, all different places, because it's the quality of life. And I want to be sure that while we represent the needs and the views and the values of this county, that we protect those, that we don't lose our character and integrity of the quality of life that we have. And I can just tell you, nobody can outwork me, nobody can outlove you. And so I want your vote.
All right. Well, from all of us here, we want to thank you for your time and your participation in this debate. And I hope, again, that people have gleaned some information that's going to make them decide on who to vote for come March the 3rd. Early voting starts, again, as we said, February the 17th, and it runs for 2 weeks until Tuesday, March 3rd. And our encouragement is for you to get out and vote for one of these guys, because that's going to be your new representative for District 5. From all of us here at KHOZ and Hometown Television, I'm Dan Reynolds. Ann had to leave. And for our production manager behind the scenes, Ian Reynolds, my son, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.